Why, hello and welcome back to the podcast, and it's another episode of First Chances with Chance. And in today's episode, we will be talking about UFOs and seeing them and even communicating with them. So, the first time that I ever saw a UFO was probably when I was riding my bike past one of the parks I live by, and I saw like a little reflection right above a vehicle. You may not consider it to be a UFO, but it's called an unidentified flying object. And it was definitely flying right above the vehicle. So, yeah. Like, had I been standing on top of the vehicle, I probably would have been able to touch it. So, yeah. Yeah. I was riding my bike. I don't know why I had a broken pair of scissors in my pocket at that time. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about how I had, for some reason, had a broken pair of scissors in my pocket. And so I stopped because a piece of it fell out and I had to go back and pick it up. I was on the side of the road. And then the truck drove by and I saw the reflection. It was like a diamond shape. Like right above the truck, and it wasn't like all the way up in the sky. It was literally right there by the truck. And so that, it wasn't too bad. Like, I wasn't like scared or anything. I was intrigued, if anything. But there's been a couple other times that I've seen UFOs in the sky, which I know that they're UFOs because, yeah. So I was on the boat fishing with my dad, and so yeah, we have our own fishing boat that we go on deep sea fishing, and it was like early morning type of thing or late at night, and all of a sudden in the sky I saw this, what looked like a disc, like a flying disc with lights swirling around it. And that was it was at night that I saw that one. And then there was another time that we went out fishing that I was hoping to see it again, and of course I ended up seeing it again, or another UFO. And so I was happy because it like literally looked like it was a disc in the sky. And we were fishing. My mom was there too, and she saw it as well. So, yeah. She was like, "No, it's a plane." Da, 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 da. Which I knew it wasn't, because you couldn't see the tail of the plane or anything. It was just a little disc shape. So, yeah. Another time was when we were at the park where we used to take my old dog. It was the same exact one, or like one that was almost exactly the same, because it still had just the disc shape and everything, or it could have been a blimp, who knows, but it didn't have the tail of a blimp. It just had the disc shape of the bubble disc shape type of thing. Well, I just got lightheaded and I'm sitting down. Definitely haven't gotten enough sleep, but that's neither here nor there. Another time was when I was actually walking the dog, and it was farther in the sky, so it's just like a little light reflection, or like a little light in the sky. like a dot of light in the sky. So it was moving steadily across the sky, and then all of a sudden, boom! It like bolted downwards, and like at a faster pace than any other, like even a plane would be able to do. There are times that I have wanted to see that one again, or even a similar one like that again, but when I saw Demi trying to speak to the aliens, I tried, and they didn't seem too happy with me. Like the ones that I saw didn't seem very happy with me. So, yeah. But yeah, so like I said, Demi's definitely spoken up about her sightings with UFOs. There's been quite a few people that have had sightings. They've been around for centuries, millenniums, longer than as long as the Earth has, I want to say, has been around, for sure. Hell, there's even comics that talk about aliens, like the Celestials. They're technically would be considered aliens. They weren't of this world. Like the whole like them being in space and everything isn't like portrays aliens even to look like us. They heck, Groot is an alien. Technically, Star-Lord is an alien because he was on Earth, but then decided to travel. But yeah, so we are going to take a little break, and I will be back with the computer with some more knowledge. Okay, so we are back, and I'm going to go ahead and look up UFO sighting reports. And history. So I know that there's been like shows about it and everything. Like Demi just recently did her show. What was it? Demi Lovato UFO series. So her show was Unidentified with Demi Lovato. So what she did in her series is that she pretty much like in one episode she spoke to the spirits of one of the locations that she was at, and then another episode she meditated and spoke to the aliens, or communicated with one of her friends and like sent energy between each other. And then at one point she did talk about speaking to the aliens and how she was evidently abducted when she was younger because there was scar tissue on her ovaries, which would have proven that there were that she had a miscarriage or something, because the only time that scar tissue does show up on ovaries are when there's either a miscarriage or something is wrong, or was it scarring on the fallopian tube, something. But here we have the 5 most credible UFO sightings in history. Okay. If it'll load. So, in 1951, there was it was the Lubbock lights. At the beginning of the 1950s, the hype about UFOs peaked in the U.S. Arnold's flying saucer and Roswell incident had a strong media presence. During that period, 3 professors of Texas Tech witnessed a strange semicircle light speck in the sky. They named them Lubbock lights. Dozens of reports over the next few days also agree with the professors. A freshman student even snapped a photo of the lights. The world finally had an image of UFO. U.S. Air Force says that they weren't UFOs but birds flying in formation, which is a terrible explanation, honestly, because it looks like from the picture that it is late at night. So why would that be? How could that be birds flying? Birds aren't reflective, U.S. Air Force. 1976, Taran UFO Incident. Just give me a moment. (1976) Taran UFO Incident. Citizens of Tehran, the capital of Iran, witnessed a strange light in the sky on September 19th, 1976. After getting dozens of reports, authorities sent an F-4 fighter jet to investigate the object. Upon reaching the object, the control system of the jet malfunctioned and it returned to base. A second F-4 was sent to complete the mission. This time the pilot locked the object on radar, but the object shot a strange light back to the plane as he planned to attack the object. His plane malfunctioned too, just like the first F-4. Later, the Iranian government sought help from the U.S. with the investigation. The U.S. Air Force gave silly explanations like the object was Jupiter and the planes were faulty. Excuse me? I swear, Area 51 is real. Duh. People get turned away every single time that they go and try to fucking show up there. And honestly, there's been even evidence that has finally came out just I think a couple years ago that show that talk about Area 51 released documents. Let's go ahead and finish for the sake of this. So the Belgian wave of 1989 to the 90s. The Belgian wave is certainly the biggest event regarding UFO sighting. About 13,500 people witnessed this anomaly. In 1989, the citizens of Belgium saw a large triangular object hovering above. Sadly, there is no proven evidence of this one. Later in the following year, multiple numbers of similar triangular objects were seen. This time, authorities sent 2 F-16 jets to investigate. The moment the pilots got near the objects, the UFO moved away at a staggering speed and the pilots lost them. F-16 fighter jets were one of the fastest jets of that time. Okay then. O'Hare International Airport saucer 2016. This is one of the modern I did just say 2016. It's 2006. I swear. This is one of the modern UFO sightings on November 7th, 2006. Hey, that's 3 days after my brother's birthday. 12 United Airlines employees saw a strange metallic object hovering over gate C-17. The UFO stayed like that for about minutes and then went straight up, creating a hole in the clouds. Sadly, even after all these pieces of evidence, FAA labeled the incident as a weather phenomenon. Excuse me? What is FAA? What is FAA? Federal Aviation Administration. Okay, well, you're part of the government, so you're gonna cover it up. East Coast Tic Tac Ufo. See, that's kind of like what the one that in the clouds that I saw looked like. It was like a white tic tac. The leaked video of 2017 that shows classified radar footage where F-8... Why am I yawning so much? Oh wait, that's right, because the last episode has been giving me problems uploading. F-A-18 Super Hornet and a UFO. This video is by far the most credible evidence of UFO sighting. F/A-18 Super Hornet pilot followed the UFO 25,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean, but the object flew away and continuously rotated on axis. The U.S. authorities never gave an explanation of this incident either. Okay, well, we already know that the UFOs exist, so yeah. Get your shit straight, government. But let's go ahead and see some of the 2014 and through 2020 postings. Let's just read like 2 from each year. So So this was in December 18th of 2014. So it's doing it by a like military time. So 17 hours and 45 minutes. Or 1745 minutes, or is it 1745 hours? I don't know. Because there's 0100, which is 1 in the morning, but yeah. Never took JROTC, so I wouldn't know. So it says that they received a telephone report from a young woman from Staten Island, New York, of her sighting there of a cluster of red lights, which occurred at, again, 17:45 hours Eastern on December 18th, 2014. It is yet another good example of the many thousands of reports the center, which is the regular website, I guess, where you report your UFO sightings. They evidently receive a multiple accounts of clusters of red or orange fireballs, and the copy of her report is red dots followed by red clear orb followed by more red dots. New Dorp, Staten Island, New York City. First a series of red dots low in the air below planes. No sound and swift motion. Followed was a clear red orb that quickly went by the red dots. The red orb passed for about 10 minutes after, more and more red dots followed that craft. The location of the event is... Oh, I'm not even going to try to do that. Lights on object, yes. So there was another incident. Let's see the full report. Oh, geez. That's a long report. Occurred August 20th, 1964 at 0030, which would be 12:30 in the morning. Sir, what are you doing up that early? He reported it at 5:54 a.m. and it lasted 15 minutes. There were lights on the object. Okay, and the shape is unknown. And it was Point Pleasure Treasure, which is Treasure Island, New Jersey. Point of light moving at high speed with stops describing a rectangle. So this happened 50 years ago, but the memory is as clear as... Oh no, wait, what? Oh, so it was reported in 2014, but it happened in 1964. Okay, well, why didn't you report it back then? But the memory is as clear as day. I was 14 years old at a camp on the Delaware River working as a nature counselor. A large field there was perfect for astronomy, and on good viewing nights I would be out trying to locate constellations. On the incident night I started about 2300 and continued to 0100. The date was about August 20th, 1964, but may have been a few days before. There was no moon. The sky was ink black with brilliant stars at this time. I was looking south. I saw what appeared to be some shooting stars, not common, but then a star moving as fast as a shooting star caught my eye. A light, as a bright star just to the left of the center of the sky, moved from left to right. Stopped, then turned south, moved about a quarter distance of the sky, stopped, turned back to the left, recrossed, turned again, returned to the starting point. The path was rectangular and did not look like an aircraft in a holding pattern, as the turn points was sharp right angles. Of course, Buttercup has to be fucking moving right now. Ma'am, quit moving. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I had started studying for flight training and had 10 to 12 hours by age 16. Expensive. Worked pumping gas at an airport. But in 1964 was just a dream with books. The item that just was unnatural was the exact clean, crisp 90-degree turn with no change in speed. You could have used a right angle to draw the event. I recognized then that for the turn to appear that crisp, the object would have to be very far away, but I had no comparison for distance. However, the velocity was so high that it covered over one half of the sky in 3 seconds. So, see object point of light, high speed 3 seconds, stop acute turn, 2 seconds down, stop acute turn, 3 second flight, stop acute turn, flight 2 seconds, return to point. This flight path consisted of 3 cycles, then slight deviation out of pattern north for a second, then gone. Looked like acceleration, then gone, not visible. Since then, I graduated college and infantry officer medical school and a instrument-rated pilot and an AME. I knew at the time this was not a conventional aircraft. The size of the flight path would require an extremely fast aircraft at distance flying squares. And on the other hand, the aircraft would be much closer, 10 to 15 miles, but then aircraft navigation lights, landing lights would be seen and the turns would be gentle baking. This was what eliminated no twinkle, high speed, sharp 90 turns, then just disappeared. There it is, what it is. I've seen a lot of aircraft from the ground and from the cockpit, never since have seen anything like this event. Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of like what I saw in the night sky when I was walking the dog. Like, it was steady. I mean, with this time it was steady, and then 90 degrees straight down. So, let's go to a 2015 report. And then we will do some others. Or just, some shows that talk about aircrafts, because yeah, I'm tired. Let's see. So Peter Davenport, Center Director, is scheduled to appear on the radio program hosted by where he will discuss okay, well, it was a 7-minute duration, time 18 hours and 50 minutes, date December 17th, 2015, Madison City in Mississippi. Witnesses 4, Shakespeare, number of craft 6. The lead mechanic for an aviation company in Madison, Massachusetts came inside the FBO and requested that all the employees on staff step outside to witness the objects. We initially saw 5 red spherical objects in the western sky, traveling southbound at a rapid but steady pace. The objects were approximately 2 hand widths, vertical distance from ground level. The red light on the objects were not blinking. All the objects began to disappear. Their red lights faded slowly as if burning out, once they all reached the same point in the sky. A 6th and final object emerged, appearing to lag behind the initial objects, but heading in the same direction and traveling at the same approximate speed. It too disappeared once it reached the same point in the sky. The entire event lasted between 4 and 7 minutes. The sighting was witnessed at an airport by personnel who have had numerous years in and around aircraft. This was not typical aircraft behavior. Lights on object? Yes. Okay, and with that report, we are going to go ahead and take another break and be right back. Okay, so we are back. Which do I want to do first? Let's do the shows. So I already said the one of them about Demi's show. I forget what it was already. But a couple other shows with like UFOs and alien visitation. I have a site pulled up with a lot of them. So there's Roswell. So beginning at let's see the full summary. Beginning at a 30-year reunion for members of a military nuclear bomb unit, flashbacks are presented that follow the attempts of Major Jesse Marcel to discover the truth about strange debris found on a local rancher's field in July of 1947, told by his supervisors that what he has found is nothing more than a downed weather balloon. Marcel maintains his military duty until the weight of the truth, however out of this world it may be, forces him to piece together what really occurred. Adapted from real-life events portrayed in the book _UFO Crash at Roswell. So in the book UFO Crash at Roswell by Kevin Randall and Donald Schmidt. So, yeah. Interesting. Why? It completely closed me out. Completely closed me out. So, the UFO incident in the early 1960s, a married couple undergoes a hypnosis which unlocks memories of a forgotten event on a lonely road. Soon they believe they were abducted by extraterrestrials. The Abyss, a civilian diving team, is enlisted to search for a lost nuclear submarine and faces danger while encountering an alien aquatic species. I mean, they do live in the aquatic too. So, yeah. Independence Day. Do I have to go over this one? I think not. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension. I've only heard of the 4th dimension, not the 8th or the... I mean, I've heard of the 5th dimension. But the 8th? Adventurer, brain surgeon, rock musician Buckaroo Banzai, and his crime-fighting team, the Hong Kong Cavaliers, must stop evil alien invaders from the 8th dimension who are planning to conquer Earth. Okay, so this is definitely false. The Aerial Anarchists. Anarchists build a super aircraft and bomb a railway, a fort, and St. Paul's. What? How does that have to do with aliens or UFOs? The aerial submarine. Flying pirates torpedo a liner, then travel under the sea to salvage bullion? What? The Battle in the Clouds. An inventor uses a wireless controlled flying torpedo to destroy enemy airships. Okay, that just seems like it's about war. I looked up UFO and alien visitation movies on IMDb. I don't want anything dealing with aircrafts. No, I don't. Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe. Okay, well, this is obviously the aliens. I mean, this is kind of like what this episode's about, is like UFOs and aliens, but it's mainly about like UFO sightings, like the main topic's UFO sightings, but obviously when you talk about UFOs, you also talk about aliens. So, yeah. An alien policeman arrives on Earth to apprehend a renegade of his own race who impregnates a woman with a potentially destructive mutant embryo. Why did that make me think of Thanos? Thanos! Contamination. A former astronaut helps a government agent and a police detective track the source of mysterious alien pod spores filled with lethal flesh-dissolving acid to a South American coffee plantation controlled by alien pod clones. Imagine that. And watch on Prime Video. It's included with Prime. Okay then. Oh God. This would be a scary thought. The alien dead. Huh? A meteor strikes a houseboat in the swamps near a southern town populated by Yankees with fake accents. What is wrong? The people on the houseboat become zombies who feed on the alligators in the swamp. See full summary. Once they run out of alligators, they start going for citizens. A local scientist tries to figure out what's happening to people once they start disappearing. Well, why am I not allowed to go back then? There's no back button. It's just gonna kick me out. Like, what the heck? Oh, I'll just open it up in a new tab. Gotcha. I gotcha. Alien zombie. Oh, alien dead. Yeah. Okay, so the alien factor. Let's see the full summary in a new tab. Thank you. Thank you. So, the alien... is it a series? Because... oh, it says... I fucking hate dyslexia. I read it as pilot. Like the pilot of a series. Like the pilot episode of a series. A spaceship containing specimens for an intergalactic zoo crashes on Earth near a small backwoods town. Backwood? I hate those. Not backwoods town, but I hate backwoods. Like, the raps? Yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then look up look up something about Tana Mojo. And you'll know what I'm talking about. You should know what I'm talking about just by the mention of Tana Mojo if you know who Tana Mojo is. But, let's get back to aliens. So, the specimens escape and soon townfolk are turning up mutilated. A very low budget feature was the first for Baltimore filmmaker Don Dollar. Well... oh. Watch on Stars with Prime Video. Oh, I am not subscribing to that. Alien Nation. In 1988, Earth makes the first contact with an alien civilization. But in 1991, these aliens, known as newcomers, slowly begin to be integrated into human society after 3 years of quarantine. That just made me think of Conehead. Like, I literally pictured Conehead. Who are also aliens. So yeah, if this site does not mention Conehead, I will be so fucking pissed. And we're only on 14 out of, I think, like 50. So, we'll be here for a while. And then we also have the Area 51 released documents. But I'll only mention some of them. Yeah. But let's go ahead and finish off the movies and shows. Alien Predator. 3 American friends traveling through Spain get stuck in a remote town where something very dangerous is changing the townspeople. Alien Private Eye. An alien sent to Earth to retrieve a drug that was sent here on a Earth black disk has to fight her race's enemies, who are also on Earth to search for the drug. Okay. Oh, and you can... Sorry. Got distracted. Just checking on a video edited. I already did Alien Private Eye. The aliens are coming. An alien mothership hovering in Earth's atmosphere is the base for an attempted alien invasion of Earth. What? Okay, we are good. Alien seed. An alien impregnates an Earth woman so she can deliver an alien messiah that will rule the world. A newspaper reporter finds out what's going on and sets out to stop it. I mean, it does happen though. You can't stop it. They just abduct you and impregnate you. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the last half of Double something with American Horror Story, like the last season, double feature. The first bit was like, yeah, drug use, and then the last half of the season were like aliens impregnated the people. Yeah. Alien Warrior. An alien from another dimension lands on Earth to fight the great evil that has been unleashed on it. Okay, why did that just make me think of Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer? The Alpha Incident, a microorganism from Mars brought to Earth by a space probe, terrorizes passengers in a railroad office. The Andromeda Strain. A team of top scientists work feverishly in a secret state of the art laboratory to discover what has killed the citizens of a small town and learn how this deadly contagion can be stopped. So that's it of the synopsis or summaries I'm reading, but I'm going to go ahead and finish reading the list off to you. Hellish Spiders, released in 1968. The Arrival, released in 1996. Assignment Terror, released in 1970. The Astounding She-Monster, right, makes me think of She-Hulk, which is about to be coming soon to the MCU. Released in 1957. The Astronomer's Dream, or The Man in the Moon. 1898, they had movies back then? What? I did not know they had movies back then. The Atomic Submarine, released in 1959. Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, 1958. The Aurora Encounter, released in 1986. The Bamboo Saucer, released in 1968. Batteries Not Included, released in 1987. Battle in Outer Space, released in 1959. Battle of the Worlds, released in 1961. The Beast with a Million Eyes, 1955. The Blob, released in 1958. Beware, The Blob, released in 1972. Okay, so yeah, it's a continuation of The Blob. Blood Beast from Outer Space, released in 1965. Gok, Body Snatcher from Hell, released in 1968. Body Snatchers, released in 1993. The Borrower, released in 1991. The Brain Eaters, released in 1958. The Brain from Planet Arouse, released in 1957. The Brother from Another Planet, released in 1984. Real Men, released in 1987. The Bubble, released in 1966. The Cat from Outer Space, released in 1978. Village of the Damned, released in 1960. Children of the Damned, 1964. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, released in 1976. Cocoon, released in 1985. Communion, released in 1989. The Wild Blue Yonder, released in 2005. Okay, thank you. Coneheads, released in 1993. Contact, released in 1997. The Cosmic Man, released in 1959. The Strange World of Planet X, released in 1958. The Crawling Eye, ew, released in 1958. The Creeping Terror, released in 1964. Evidently it was a TV movie, okay. The Quartermass Experiment. Nice way to put your title, buddy. Released in 1955. Predator. Really? Y'all had to put Predator in here. Released in 1987. The Dark. Released in 1979. The Day Mars Invaded Earth. Released in 1962. How long does this list go on for? Invasion of the Triffids, 1963. The Day the Earth Stood Still. So that was the original one in 1951. Devil Girl from Mars, The Disappearance of Flight 412. Okay, that's definitely similar to Flight 180. E.T. Earthbound, The Mating Habits of the Earthbound Humans. The Earth Dies Screaming, Earth Girls Are Easy. Earth versus the Flying Saucers, Eat and Run. The Cabbage Soup, Les Gendarmes et les Extraterrestres. Endangered Species, End of the World. Critters, Quartermass 2. Escape to Witch Mountain. Yep, that was a double. So it's Escape and Return. And then I forget what the last one was. I think it was like a remake of the originals, though. Evil Brain from Outer Space, Explorers, Attack of the Eye Creatures, Eyes Behind the Stars, Starman, A Fantastical Meal, Fire in the Sky, First Man into Space, Quartermass in the Pit. What's with all these quartermasses? The Flame Barrier, Fight of the Navigator. That was a good movie. The Flying Saucer, Frankenstein meets the Space Monster. Okay. God Told Me To. The Green Slime, Destination Inner Space. Hangar 18, A Trip to Mars. Hercules Against the Moonmen. Really? Are you kidding me? That has nothing to do... Oh. That has nothing to do with Greek mythology. The Hidden. Horror Express. So that's 100. And I guess there's 275. We ain't gonna do that, because we're gonna take another break. Yeah. Don't come at me for taking all these breaks. I have to piss. Okay? Leave me alone. Okay, so I'm pulling up the computer again. We are actually cutting it a little close, so I can't really stay for that much longer. And so we're not gonna talk about any more movies per se. I do have the Area 51 file. So declassified documents describe stealth facility in Nevada, which is Area 51. I'm just gonna read from the screen. Just ignore the background. My neighbor is blowing his car. Oh man, blowing. Washington, D.C., October 29th, 2013. The CIA's history of the U-2 spy plane declassified this past summer sparked enormous public attention to the U-2 secret test site Area 51 in Nevada, but documents posted today by the National Security Archives show that Area 51 played an even more central role in the development of the U.S. Air Force's top secret stealth programs during the I-1. Okay, so this really doesn't talk about any of that. I just want UFO released documents. Okay, well, I guess I'm hungry as well. So, I will have to make food before I go get my hair cut. CIA admits UFOs are real and many cannot be explained. Other than that, a lot of the stuff is like, yeah. But this will be the end of the episode. I hope you guys liked it. Don't leave a thumbs up in the section down below if you guys are watching. Don't forget to leave a comment of any of your guys' UFO sightings. I know you guys have them, so don't forget to leave your guys' stories. Because y'all haven't been fucking leaving your stories for me to put in another episode with all of your guys' stories. So, please start doing that. Thank you. And you could do that by being brave enough and messaging down below, like leaving your comment down below if you guys are watching the video portion. But if you guys are listening, text 561-320-7085 or leave a voicemail with your guys' stories. Or you could even DM the podcast on Instagram at First Chances with Chance. Again, text or leave a voicemail to 561-320-7085 with your guys' stories, or DM the podcast at First Chances with Chance on Instagram. And if you're brave enough, leave a comment down below with any of your guys' stories from any of the episodes. So please start doing that. Thank you. Greatly appreciated, because your guys' stories will be put into a episode of just your guys' stories. Again, please do it. It'll be greatly appreciated, and your stories will be able to get out there and be put into one of my episodes with all of your guys' stories. Bye, guys. Love you.